The Creation and Recreation of Venus by Louis Alberto. We start with Tiziano Vecellio, an Italian Renaissance painter that lived from 1488 to 1576. He was known for his use of color during the Italian Renaissance, which um, was crucial in his success as an artist. His most famous painting is known as the Venus of Urbino, famous for its traditional representation of beauty in Italy's Renaissance. It set up the tradition of the lying nude, and you can see that it has a heavy use of color. If you look around the painting, you can see how even the darkest color, the dark green uh, curtain in the back, you can see how detailed it is because it was painted over and over again with color. The couch, her skin tone, you can see the dog and people in the background as well. This painting birthed the inception of the nude woman as idealized goddess of beauty. The color is also an accurate representation of the Venice style of colorito, which is using heavy colors, which was the painting was painting in Venice at the time. Uh, Historical context of Venus. When Venice was a city-state controlled by rich families through a family oligarchy, the heavy interest by wealthy also contributed to the success of the art. The heavy contributions by our aristocrats allow such art to thrive. For example, Francisco Maria I de la Rovere, the Duke of Urbino, was whom the painting was for. The Venus of Urbino was for the Duke of Urbino, and that's why I think it was special because they said yes, we want the painting, and they basically endorsed it in a way so it can be painted. Cultural context. This painting is a very accurate representation of the Italian Renaissance because you have the love of art that flourishes everywhere in Italy during this time period, and the style of the painting was really crucial to how the Renaissance was. Venice was the center of all this because of their trading, because they were successful trading since they were out on the sea, so it was easy for ships to come in and out. They can get all this trading done, and it was a really wealthy city. So the wealthy, of course, wanted the arts to flourish, and that's why Venice was center for it. Now we have Edward Monet, who lived from 1838 to 1883. After failing at naval school, went to Paris to pursue art. He was constantly criticized for his style, and he was considered the father of modernism. He was criticized heavily for realistic style in his paintings Olympia, which we'll show in a minute, and he left France to Spain due to harsh criticism of his work, which was this painting, uh, Olympia. It was heavily criticized for non-traditional style beauty, which you can see here. She is not exactly beautiful. Her eyes are uneven on top of that. The paintings made him known the father of realism because this is realistic color scheme is not heavily it's not heavily colorized. It's just more it's less saturated than Olympia. Was an ode to Venus of Urbino, and this was his modern interpretation of Urbino. So so in Olympia, um, this it was, although Monet didn't want it to be a challenge to Urbino, it showed more realistic definitions of a woman instead of idealized versions, which was what the Renaissance was about. It was about naturalism. It was about getting out the really idealized view of beauty. So this is not a goddess. You can see here that it also has many influences from Japanese art due to the saturation. This is more balanced style. It's not so heavy colorized again. And this is the opposite of previous centuries because in the 17th and in the 18th century it was always more about naturalism, and now it's more about realism. Um, Historical significance of Olympia. During the time the painting was completed, France was politically unstable. In the early 19th century, mainly due to a lot of Napoleon's wars in the earlier century, and a lot of political instability, and then the changing political climate in France as well. And there was a lot of refugees in France at the time, as well as the fact that France have had to pay. They had to pay for the damages they did during many wars, so that put France back, and urbanization was not possible as quickly as other countries had urbanization. So a lot of 40 to 50% of the people were still living in the countryside during the 1800s. So the city wasn't full of people as every other city will be during this time period around the world. Um, Venus and Olympia, although they're very similar pictures, they're vastly different. And you can see their obvious representation of realism being Monet's Olympia and naturalism being Titian's Venus. So you can see here that the gaze, well, let's start with the face. The face of Olympia is more uneven, so you can see that you'll see that face more out on the street than you will see Olympia's face, which looks like almost like angelic face, almost in a way. And here you see the contrast, more realism. You see heavy colors used in Olympia, and more controlled use of colors for for uh, for Olympia. Venus is always you can see her hair is extremely colorful. It just seems really blonde, very angelic in a way. Olympia's is just more. It was just more accurate at the time of how women dressed. And then Venus is more faithful to depicting reality and actual social realities. For example, because Olympia was in fact a prostitute that Monet painted, and I think that's what caused a lot of controversy amongst critics at the time. And Monet also does this by he does his little contrasting by using more pale colors instead of um, more saturated colors, so that way it looks more natural, more realistic in a way. And then Venus's is obviously heavily colorized, and the gazes are different. Although Venus's is more coy, Olympia is more demand, as if she's waiting, and that is the contrast between the two. And I think is the major difference is this how they're looking at the audience, and that will lead to all the interpretation needed to compare these two.